well, my mom's friends, Miriam, and my uncle Jason. It's really fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. Sorry, I think there's a little delay, but Tig, did you watch the Villanova games? I was rooting for you yesterday. I can't hear you. Still can't hear you. I don't know what's going on with the audio.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Okay, until we figure it out. Samhita, did you want to share your break?
First, I'm scared I didn't get to say that because I joined a little late.
Hi, Samhita.
And then actually on Saturday was my dad's birthday. Saturday was my dad's birthday. So we made a lot of cards for my dad because I helped my little sisters. I searched up some different kinds of gifts that we could make by ourselves. So we made him a trophy and had a paper.
Oh, I bet he loved that.
Yeah, we made a trophy, decorated it, and then gave him different cards. And we also, as a surprise, we also went to a picnic where we stayed most of the evening. Then my friends who were there at the picnic, my friends, they were named Prenya and Satvik, they also came to our house. So we had a pizza party. And the last time we had a pizza party, and we also got a little piece of cake.
That sounds really fun. Well, did your dad have a great time?
Yeah, and at that park there was a waterfall.
Oh, where was that? The waterfall?
It was in Oklahoma.
In Oklahoma. Okay. That sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Tig, I think we can hear you now.
Miss Gardner?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Three things. Number one, Villanova lost very sadly. Second of all, we had a really awesome barbecue yesterday, and we had all my friends over, and we had an awesome pillow fight in the playroom, and we had hot dogs and burgers, and then we went to my friend's house and played on his trampoline, and then this Friday, the second school is done.
You're cutting out. What are you doing on Friday?
We're going to Silver Dollar City, but just me and my mom.
Oh, so fun. Love the roller coasters there. That'll be so much fun. And perfect time of year for it. Josiah, how was your break?
Yeah, I was good. And on Friday, I went to the Gentry Zoo.
Oh, how fun. What's your favorite animal to see there?
My favorite animal. I liked all of them.
All of them? I like the giraffes and
yeah, there were giraffes there. And this is the thing.
is that the map for it?
Yeah. And I saw kangaroos, a hyena, I saw giraffes, and I saw a white rhino and a hippopotamus. And I also went with my friends, and I saw bison and antelope and emus and ostriches and camels and horses and cows.
So many things.
Yeah, there were so many things I saw. And
Josiah, I'm so glad you got to go there.
Tigers and lions and 2 black bears.
Okay, and we'll get to Arianch next. And I'd love to hear about everybody's plans. I'm going to open up the chat so that if you don't end up getting called on, you can still write it there. Go ahead, Arianch. What did you do over the break?
So, until Saturday, so this Saturday, the Saturday that was just a few days ago on March 27th,
it was my friend's birthday, and we went to his house, and then it got a little crazy. First they were doing they were just normally sitting down on the ground until I was the one who told them, let's go upstairs. So we all went upstairs and started watching a movie called Mowgli. Now the big part is that none of us were watching Mowgli after 5 minutes. We were just playing chess or going downstairs and playing with bow and arrows. So we weren't even watching Mowgli. And then we went out, and then we went back in, and then out, and then back in. So I kept on going back in, out and back in so many times. And the wind was just slamming the door. And then I finally went home at, I think, 8:30.
Okay. Well, fun day. It's probably more fun to just play chess with your friends than to watch a movie, because then you're actually talking to each other and competing with each other. Okay, everyone else can write in the chat. I'd love to hear what you did over the break. I didn't end up going anywhere over the break, but lots of basketball watching. That was the big part of spring break, definitely. Tig, did you watch the UCLA game last night?
Yeah.
Wasn't that exciting?
Mm-hmm. But the problem was I really didn't care who won because for my bracket I'm at the point where I cannot get any more points because I've gotten so many wrong.
Oh, I'm almost there with you. But my boyfriend went to UCLA and we were so excited. That was a big, big, big win.
At least I get $5, which is my money back.
Oh, okay, good. Marcus?
I went mini golfing yesterday.
Oh, how fun. Have you done that before?
No, it's only been my third time since I've went mini golfing. It's a really rare occasion.
The chat isn't open.
Oh, I'm sorry, sweetie. I thought it was. Okay. Go ahead, Emma. And Emma, did you have some special things you did? Okay.
But can I share?
Yes.
I think it was on Saturday. This Saturday, we went to I forgot what it was, but it was like a place where you can walk and also bike, and there were some places that we played in the water. And whenever we were there, it started raining, so we had to run. And since our grandma's here and our grandpa's here, our mom, my sister, and my grandma were behind us, but it was raining, but they had an umbrella, but we were running faster. And my dad, me, and my baby brother were going to run, and then since we didn't have the keys to go in the car, we had to wait under a bridge so that my mom had the keys, so we had to wait for her to come.
Which day was that again? Saturday?
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was so beautiful, and then it just poured. So I'm sure it was during one of those times. It almost sounded like it was hailing. It was so loud. Okay. Well, oh, Deekshita, happy birthday to your brother. That's really exciting. Well, I am so glad to have everyone back. Let's get started on the Pledge of Allegiance and school motto today. And I'll keep that chat open for those of you who didn't get to write yet. Okay. Can you all join me in saying the pledge? And maybe Saha Nasri, would you like to lead us in the pledge? We haven't heard from you yet this morning. Uh-oh. She left on accident. Harika, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Yeah. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we'll do the honor code.
Okay.
Actually, I'll have Saha Nasri do that since she's back. Can you lead us in the honor code, Saha Nasri?
Honor. I will honor those things which are good, true, and beautiful. Respect. I will show respect to others at all times. Service. I will do good things for others without being asked. Excellence. I will strive for excellence in all things. Perseverance. I will fulfill commitments and not give up or act on discouragement.
Thank you so much, Sahanasri. Okay, please join me for a moment of silence, boys and girls. Okay, well, let's start on some phonogram today and some spelling review. We are going to have back to just normal routine today, but throughout this week, we are also going to incorporate a little bit of practice for the ACT Aspire test that we're going to have next Monday and Tuesday. Now, I sent a link to your parents to do a little practice test if you wanted to. Did anybody happen to do anything from the practice link? Great. So that's not going to necessarily give you like the information you need to do well, but it helps you to see what the format for the test is like so that come Monday, next week, 1 week from today, you'll feel a little bit more prepared for the way to answer those kind of questions. So we'll be doing a little practice this week for those tests. Ariane, did you have a question about that? And let's take out whiteboards and markers.
No, I don't have a question.
Okay. Was it a different comment?
No, it was nothing. I was just raising my hand since I did all of those practice tests.
Oh, okay, excellent. Samita, did you have something to share? And boys and girls, show me that you've got your whiteboard and marker ready for some practice.
Yeah, I do. So if we do, how many are you gonna do in one day?
How many tests?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Okay, so there are, I think, 5 total. There's a reading, language, writing, math, and science. So one day we'll have 2 tests, one day we'll have 3 tests, but I'm not sure which one on which day.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Gardner. And are we supposed to be there by 8 o'clock?
What's that?
Are we supposed to be there by 8 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It's going to be a short day, though, because you'll get to school at 8 o'clock and leave at 12, and you won't have any other work to do those days. So you won't have any extra meetings or Bright Thinker assignments. There's nothing going to be, nothing else on those days, Monday and Tuesday. Whoa, Rishith, you had a full week. Some birthdays, egg hunts. Oh, fun. Love an Easter egg hunt. That's so fun. Oh, and Beaver Lake. It was a great weekend for that. Okay, I'm going to turn off the chat now. It's so good to hear about everybody's breaks. Right now, please, boys and girls, write the phonogram A to letter A that we do use at the end of English words. Let's just do a little bit of phonogram practice. Get back into that routine. A to letter A that we do use at the end of an English word. Arshab, do you have your whiteboard with you? Excellent. Okay, let's write A to letter A, like play. Hold it up when you're done, please. Like in the word play or say. By the way, Kruthi is the only one missing today, and she's not going to be joining for class today. She will tomorrow, though. Her spring break plans lasted a little longer. Kruthi, if you're watching this, we're excited to see you back tomorrow. Okay, hold up A to letter A that we do use at the end of English words. Next, let's do A to letter A that we do not use at the end of English words. And Emma, would you say this one for us? What do we call the phonogram?
A, two-letter A that we do use at the end of.
Okay, so this one is a two-letter A that we do use at the end of English words. What's this one?
A, two-letter A that we do not use at the end of.
Good. Why do we not use this at the end of an English word?
Because I does not go at the end of a word.
Very good. I and you. Okay, let's do next a four-letter A, like neighbor. How do we write a four-letter A, like neighbor? Good job, Tig. Hopping right on them. Great job, Saha Nasri. Harika, would you unmute yourself and tell us this phonogram? What do we call it?
A four-letter A.
Perfect. Okay, let's do two more other phonograms that make the A sound. A-E that we do use at the end of English words, and A-E that we do not use at the end of English words. Like, hey, that would be a word using or saying that A sound, or key. And then for the other one, like ceiling, would use that one. A-E. Josiah, could you tell us what we call this phonogram?
Yeah, that we do use at the end of English words.
You got it. Marcus, can you unmute yourself and tell us this one? And if you're not sure, you can repeat after me.
E-I, two-letter I.
Close. That's the one. E-I is when we flip the letters because it's the backwards phonogram. For this one, you can repeat after me. A-E that we do not use at the end of English words.
A-E that we do not use at the end of English words.
Perfect. You got it, Marcus. Okay, that's all the phonograms for today. Let's do some spelling words now. We're going to have a quiz on Friday over some of these words. Let's start with chord, like play a chord on the piano. Chord. Not like a cord to charge your computer. It sounds the same as that type of chord, but it's like a musical chord. Do you guys remember what we used for the k sound? Oh, excellent. Samhita remembered it well. So Ariansh, that's the other type of chord. For the musical chord, we're going to use ch, k, sh. Excellent job, Harika and Samhita and Tig, for remembering that. We use ch, k, sh. I know it's been a while since we've done this. Excellent job for those of you who remembered it. Chord, using ch, k, sh. Next up, would you please write embarrass? Like, oh, she embarrassed her older sister. Embarrass. We have two double consonants in this word. Do you remember that? Two double consonants. Embarrass. We think to spell embarrass. Y'all remember? Embarrass. This one's a little bit tricky, so try your best to remember. Oh, great job, Alexander. That was perfect. Harika, can you try to steady your... Oh, good job, Harika. You got it. Great job, Aryanch. I see Alina and Samhita are one letter off, For embarrass, it's at a aw, embarrass. Embarrass is what it should be. So make sure that you have an A in that second syllable. In Sahanasri, you're very close, but we need E in the first syllable. Embarrass. Next up, let's do sovereign. Sovereign has to do with like a king or queen reigning over their kingdom. So we're actually going to use the word reign in this word. Sovereign is the way we think to spell it. So you should have the word reign in this word. Sovereign. Tag, it's a V sound, sovereign. Looks like that's the only thing you got wrong. And Harika, the last letter of your word kind of looks like an H, but I think it might have been just the way you wrote it. Make sure you've got an N. Okay, I'm still waiting for Rishith, Marcus, and Dikshit to make sure you're holding yours up after each word. Great job. And Aryansh, you missed the next word, sovereign. Okay, next up is syndicate. Can you all write syndicate? Syndicate. Oh, perfect, Rishith. Sometimes pronounced syndicate, depending on how it's used, but it's like a group of people working together, like an organization. Syndicate. The funny thing about this one is that there's the IE in the first syllable. That's the only thing that's kind of unusual about it. Okay, next up, please write immediate. Like there's an immediate need for nurses to come to the hospital. Immediate. Like it has to happen right then. Immediate. We think to spell immediate. Like you could think I immediately ate the cake. It looks like some of you have an I in that second syllable. Make sure it's an E, immediate. E says its name there. Arshad, make sure you're holding it up after each word, please. Marcus, can you hold yours up after each word as well? Okay, and we'll leave it at that. That'll be our last word to review. Great job, everybody, getting back into the swing of things. And let's transition into some new words. So can you all take out your binder now? Take out your binder. As we're transitioning over, I want to show you guys our new poem that we're going to be learning this week. This is one that would not normally be in like the poetry book that we have in class. For those of you who've been at our school, at least in second grade, you know that we've got little poetry books and specific ones we go through. But this is an additional one that is connected to Farmer Boy. So this is a poem called The Hayloft by Robert Louis Stevenson. Robert Louis Stevenson is an author of a lot of great children's books. He wrote like Treasure Island, which I know one of my reading groups is reading right now. So Robert Louis Stevenson, he was also a poet. And this is the poem that he wrote that connects really well to Farmer Boy, because it's about kind of how imaginative it is to play in a hayloft. Have any of you ever played in a hayloft before?
No.
Well, you're going to see Almanzo playing in a hayloft soon, where it's just a place where they keep the hay that they'll give to their animals. And it's so fun. When I was little, I went to my uncle's farm and would play in the hayloft, and you can climb on top of the huge hay bales that are like 3 times as tall as probably most of you. You climb on them and you can kind of jump around without getting hurt because it's kind of soft to land on. So it's so fun.
I think I have, maybe not.
Let me see if I can find a good picture, because there's this little picture at the bottom that doesn't actually show a hayloft. Yeah, here's a good picture of what a hayloft would look like. Big bales of hay. Oh, it's so much fun. So you're going to see Almanzo play around in a hayloft soon. And this little poem talks about that experience. It says, through all the pleasant meadowside, the grass grew shoulder high, till the shining scythes went far and wide and cut it down to dry, which is talking about the process of just cutting down the grass and letting it dry so that it's going to become hay. Those green and sweetly smelling crops, they led the wagons home, and they piled them here in mountain tops for mountaineers to roam. Here is Mount Clear, Mount Rusty Nail, Mount Eagle, and Mount High. The mice that in these mountains dwell, no happier are than I. Oh, what a joy to clamber there. Oh, what a place for play. With the sweet, the dim, the dusty air, the happy hills of hay. The Hayloft by Robert Louis Stevenson. So the mountains that they're talking about are the mountains of hay bale. Oh, were you going to say that, Tig?
Not exactly. When you said the hayloft, I started thinking of this pumpkin patch we go to every year, and it has a lot of things, including this like pumpkin pyramid thing that you can climb to the top of. And,
oh, that would feel pretty similar.
And I started thinking of that when it said the mountains. And besides, I knew those were fake, because the mountains were fake, because there is no Mount Clear, no Mount Rusty Nail, no Mount Eagle, and no Mount High.
That's right. Mount Rusty Nail. I hope there's not a Mount Rusty Nail. There might be a rusty nail mixed in with the hay. Oh,
It's the
I hope those are not real. So he just is using his imagination, and you can imagine what fun it might be to climb up those big hay bales in a barn. Oh, I hope you all get a chance to do that sometime. So fun. Okay, boys and girls, well, let's get started on our new spelling lesson. And then if we have time later in our class, we'll practice that hayloft poem a little bit more. Our first word for today is dispense. Would you all say dispense? dispense means to give things out. Like if we were in class, we might say, you know, dispense the papers among your classmates. Or maybe you guys are thinking of dispensers. There might be some dispensers that give things out. Can you think of any?
I'm thinking of a Pez dispenser.
Oh, a Pez dispenser, yes. How many of you have had Pez before? That hard candy? Well, a Pez dispenser is the way that those candies are held. Oh, I was still sharing the Hayloft poem, sorry. Here's some Pez dispensers. And it's called a dispenser because it's like a little way of giving out just one little piece of Pez, one piece of candy. Okay, so the word is dispense. Can you say it with me? Dispense, 2 syllables. First syllable, is basic code, 3 sounds, basic code. Next syllable, n, s, 4 sounds. We're going to have a silent final E job 5, the S rule, so it doesn't look plural. Okay? Can you pick up your pencil and write dispense? All basic code. Just remember that silent final E. Dispense. Hold your paper up as soon as you're done, please, boys and girls, so I can see your word dispense. No double phonograms in this word. Just dispense. I'm still waiting for several. Dikshita, Arsha, Brishith, would you hold yours up if you finished? And for those of you still writing, take your time to finish. All right, looks like we are about done. Is, syllable break. Silent final E. Dispense. I see some of you put a C there, so if so, cross it out and rewrite it with SE as an ending. We do have that E and CE spelling pattern a lot for nouns, but with this verb, dispense, it's ENSE pattern. For markings, let's just go through this pretty quickly because there's nothing here, nothing here. Just over here for the silent final E, what's the job number? Do you guys remember which one the S rule is? Josiah?
Job number 5.
That's right, job 5. And the part of speech is a verb. It's the action of giving things out. But if you wanted to make it a noun, like a water dispenser or Pez dispenser, you just add that R to the end. Okay, time for our next one. Our next one is going to be the base for a few other words. Okay, the word is value. Would you all say value? Value can be used as a verb like, I really value your opinion, means I think highly of it. Or a noun, like the values we have at school, we could say are the honor code to show honor, service, respect, excellence, perseverance. those are like the values that we live by. It kind of has to do with the things that we find important, basically. Can you all say value with me? Value. 2 syllables. Val is basic code. V-a-ol. The second syllable, you, value, is a-u-u-u, but we can't have a-u-u-u at the end of a word, so we need a silent final E, job 2. Okay? Value. Please pick up your pencil and write it. Value. And hold it right up to the camera when you finish, please. Thank you so much, Alexander and Harika. You guys are rocking it today. Everyone, hold it up to the camera when you're done writing, please. Great job, Arshad and Tig and Alina. Marcus, are you writing your words? The one we just did was value. Can you write value? Like, I value your opinion. Or you can talk about it in terms of money. Like, what's the value of your Pez dispenser? Meaning, how much is it worth? Value. It looks like most people are done. Let's go ahead and go over the spelling. Val, syllable break. You, silent final E. Value. Arshad, would you tell us the markings in the word? What do we need to do?
You underline the U.
Very good. Harika, thanks for going along with it too. What about this, Arshad?
Odd job 6.
That's right. Oh, sorry, not odd job 6. It is job
1.
2 is the one for U's and V's.
Oh. Okay.
That's okay. Sorry, I know it's tricky when you don't have the silent final E chart in front of you. But job 2 is for words that end with U or V. Value is a noun or verb. Now, if we want to make it a past tense verb, value, that silent final E is just going to become part of the edit. Valued. Can you all write that? Valued. Your silent final E becomes part of the edit suffix. Past tense ending. Hold it up when you're done with valued. She valued how much the house was worth. She really valued her friendship. Valued. V-a-ol, syllable break. U-d, edit. Valued. Alina, would you mark the word for us?
Okay, so you underline the U and you underline the edit.
Good. Can you think of which sound it's saying?
The second sound.
Perfect. Now this one was a noun and verb, but once we have that past tense ending, what part of speech is it?
An adjective?
No, good guess. It's going to be either noun or verb.
Verb.
Good. Because we can't have a past tense noun. We have a past tense verb. There's an action that happened before, but not a thing or person. Okay, and one more to go along with value. If we want it to be a continuous valuing, we're going to drop the silent final E and add the ing suffix. Valuing. But drop that silent final E first. Can you all please write valuing? Drop the silent final E and add the ing suffix. And that makes it a verb that is continuing. Valuing. Hold it up when you're done with valuing. Great job, Alexander. Great job, Alina and Arshab. This is going to be the last one for the value words. Great job, Marcus. Can you write valuing? Like she's valuing her friendship. This is usually used for like having to do with money. But it can also refer to just something you find important. Val, syllable break, you, syllable break, ing, valuing. Ariansh, would you mark the word for us?
Underline the U.
Very good.
And underline the ng and put a 3
Very
on
good.
top of the I.
Perfect. Once we add the ing suffix, it's just a verb, just like when we add the ed to. Sorry, that's my coffee maker. I was going to make another cup. Okay, that is all of the value words. Now, our last one is going to have two kind of connected. Our next word is allege. Would you all say allege? So if you say that something was alleged, or like allegedly this is the case, maybe you've heard of that before. It's like to make a claim about something. And there's a word connected to it that we talk about every single day. What do you think is the word connected to this allege? Rishith? Oh, Sahanasri, you figured it out too?
Pledge.
Oh, it sounds kind of like that, but it's the pledge of what?
Allegiance.
Allegiance, that's right. So allegiance comes from this word allege. So to allege means that you claim that something is true. A lot of times it's actually about something bad or wrong. Like, oh, it's alleged that he stole from that other classroom. It's usually like a negative claim. And then allegiance comes from it. Allegiance means that you are loyal to something. Like our Pledge of Allegiance shows our loyalty to our country. Okay, so for the word allege, sound out allege. The first syllable is unstressed. So let's say allege. Allege. 2 syllables. First syllable, a, and a silent ul to keep the vowel short. Next syllable, ul, e, j. And the j is g, j, saying its second sound because of a silent final E, job 3. allege. Pick up your pencil and write it, please. There's a lot to keep in mind with this one. If you make some mistakes, it's okay, but sound out allege. Allege. Really say the sounds as you write it, please. That's very helpful. I see Alexander doing a good job of that, even with his finger under his chin. Allege. Alexander and Alina are done. Great job. Allege. A-ul, syllable break. Ul, j, silent final E. Allege. Check that your spelling matches mine. There might be quite a few mistakes with this one. And it's okay, just cross it out and rewrite it like this. Allege. Dikshita, would you mark the word for us? And I'll help you out if you get stuck, because there's quite a lot of markings.
First, you double underline the first L.
Great job.
Next,
and this
you
is an unstressed syllable, so what else are we going to do?
you put thinking cap on the A.
Good job.
You double underline the E, the last one.
It's a job 3, which makes good say its second sound. Great job, Dikshita. This is a verb. If we wanted to turn it into a noun, we would say allegation, which means that claim you have against somebody. But as our next word, we're going to use one that we use a lot more often, allegiance. Basically, to show that you're loyal to something. For allegiance, it's going to be allege. We're going to have j and I-E together, allege. And then the noun suffix, the A-N-C-E that we use at the end of a noun. Okay, so allegiance, it's j followed by a silent I-E and then the ants suffix. Okay. Allegiance. Write it out. If we have some mistakes, it's okay, but sound out allege with a silent I-E and then ants. Oh, great job, Tig. You're almost there. The g just says its second sound when it's followed by E, I, or Y. That's why we need the I right after the letter G. It's good to remember the rules because that's actually what can help us remember if there's like a silent letter. It makes
There was an I after me.
Oh, there was. Great job, Tig. I just didn't see it. Yeah, g just says its second sound when it's followed by E, I, or Y. So you definitely have to have that letter afterwards. Great job, Aryanch. Everyone hold yours up when you're done. And if you have some mistakes, it's okay. Okay, looks like we're almost all done. Let's go over it. A, ul, syllable break. Ul, e, syllable break. We're going to move the g, j to the next syllable and have that I after it to keep it saying its second sound. And then attens, allegiance. If you've got any mistakes, that's okay. Cross it out and rewrite it. I know this one's a little bit tricky. But if you wrote it correctly like tag, let me see a happy dance from you. That's a tricky one. So great job if you got this right. Allegiance. Who'd like to mark the word for us? Okay, Samhita.
At least I'll try. You put a thinking cap on the A and double underline the first L.
Perfect so far.
Then put a number 2 on the J.
Good. We're also going to underline E saying its name, which is different than this one because we pronounce it differently.
So then you put, and then
Now this is silent. Silent I-E.
and then do we underline the ants?
It's going to be a thinking cap on A-A, and then 2 on top of K.
And then double underline this
Silent final E.
final E, and I do not know what job it is. But
Okay.
is
It's
it
a job
4?
close. It's a job 3 for letters C and G saying the second sound. Just like allege, allegiance. Okay, once you're done with that, boys and girls, let's go ahead and write these in cursive, and then we're going to learn a new idiom in cursive as well. This is some good practice of the letter V in cursive, which we don't get to practice that often. Dispense, value, valued, valuing, allege, and allegiance. Six words. That was a long lesson, especially for being right back into school after spring break. So great job for all of you persevering and doing well with that one. Marcus, try your best with the cursive. And you can look at each one of my letters as you write. Okay, who finished all of their cursive? Excellent. For those of you who did it, can I see your beautiful handwriting? Nice job. You guys should be so proud of yourselves for learning cursive so well, even while just doing virtual. Okay, boys and girls, take just a little bit more time writing these in cursive. If you have time for only a few of them, if you're really slow, that's okay. But hopefully you guys are getting faster and faster. Okay, let's start going over our idiom now. If you are not quite done with your cursive words, that's okay, but hopefully you have most of those finished. Okay. At this point, let's start our new idiom. Now, we've learned a few so far. Let's review. Does anybody remember what beggars can't be choosers means? This one's a little closer to the literal meaning. Alexander, could you use that or say it in your own words? Beggars can't be choosers.
So if you ask for a book and your mom got you one and you didn't want to read it and that was the only book she had, you can't choose because you asked for a book.
That's right. You can't really be picky when you're like begging for something. Like if you are begging for your parent for candy or a special drink like a sparkling water or something, you can't be picky about it because you should just be grateful that you got it. Okay, what about cold shoulder? This one is not going to be anything like what it sounds. You guys remember that one, cold shoulder? Tig, looks like you remember it.
Yeah, wasn't, well, kind of. I will say that, but wasn't it like you are? Does it just mean like ignoring someone?
Very good. Yeah, it's ignoring someone out of a sense of like trying to be mean. So like acting kind of indifferent or unfriendly. But ignoring is the best, simplest way of putting it. That's exactly right, Tig.
And speaking of books, my mom, remember when I was showing you those Percy Jacksons? She bought me every single one of them.
Wow. Where are you at in the Sea of Monsters?
Page 55, I think.
That's excellent. What do you think of it so far?
So that's pretty good.
Yeah, Samita's a fan of those. Arshab, you read those ones as well, right? Who else reads? Aryansh too?
I'm already done with the Sea of Monsters. I'm on to the Titan's Curse.
Okay. Last year, those were the favorites of almost all my students. They loved those.
I think my sister's reading.
Oh, cool.
The goodness.
So let's connect that to our new idiom, which is a feather in your cap. Can you all say that? A feather in your cap. Now, a feather in your cap is actually referring back to Native American and Asian customs, where a warrior would put a feather like in their actual hat for every enemy that they defeated in battle. Might seem kind of funny that they'd have a feather, almost like a soldier getting a pin, like a medal of honor to show what they did. But at the time, they got a feather in their cap. And so you use that phrase for an accomplishment. So like if you finish the whole Percy Jackson series, that's kind of a feather in your cap. That's an accomplishment. Yes, Aryansh?
That's how sometime like old 1800 helmets or something those helmets, they have like a million feathers going back, and they touch the back of the helmet into the top of the helmet.
Yes, and you might especially think of Native American headdresses that were like that, with feathers going all the way down their back. That meant that they defeated a lot of enemies. Here's just a little picture that's barely showing. He's just got one little feather. He's, I guess, not the best at defeating his enemies. But those Native American headdresses that go all the way down, those kind of helmets or headdresses, show that they defeated a lot of enemies. Emma?
That kind of reminds me of not in a wait. I forgot.
Okay, let me know if you think of it. Okay, let's write a feather in your cap. We're going to write this in cursive. Yes, Samhita?
Actually, I have this book called Amelia Bedelia, and in one of those big books where it's Amelia Bedelia and friends, actually they find this time capsule, but in the book it said that would be a big feather in her cap. So it was really connecting to this one. And at the end there was actually this place where you find two ways to say it. So yeah, it said that that's a big accomplishment.
That's right. Let's write an accomplishment to show the meaning of a feather in your cap. And I remember the Amelia Bedelia books, she takes it way too literally, right? Like she thinks of a true feather in your cap. Tig, what is your discovery one that you're talking about?
It's a guy getting really mad because he hasn't defeated any enemies, so he's screaming, "Die everyone, so I can put a feather in my hat."
Oh, I thought it said discovery. Die everyone, so he can get a feather. Oh my goodness. Okay, so a feather in your cap. It's any type of accomplishment. It does not have to be your enemies dying. Does anybody have a feather in their cap of an accomplishment, like something that they've won, or you have maybe mastered some sort of goal? Alexander, what's a feather in your cap?
Well, I'm accomplished. So I'm working on this accomplishment. So I'm not done yet, but in tennis, I'm trying to get to tournaments. So when I do that, I'm going to put a feather in my cap.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, Harika's got some feathers in her cap. Trophies over there. Josiah, what about you?
Yeah, so I was in Chicago and I was a fair, and I was competing against my brother to this bear, and so I won it.
Oh, yes, definitely beating your brother to that. That's an accomplishment. A feather in your cap. Okay, let's hear one more from Tig.
Okay, well, I have one that's very recent, and the other one was actually like 2 or 3 years ago. The most recent one is this spring break. My mom signed me up for golf camp, and I've done it before. And on the last day, there are always a whole bunch of competitions, and I won the putting competition.
Way to go!
And the one from a couple years ago was conquering my fear of roller coasters.
Yeah, definitely conquering a fear. That's a big accomplishment. Marcus? since you did mini golf recently, putting could have been one of your accomplishments too, a feather in your cap. How'd you do at mini golf?
Exactly, you would just so go to the start of the course, then work your way. There would most likely be 18 to 25 holes, and each hole will get harder and harder.
Well, that is an accomplishment to make it to the end as it gets harder and harder.
And for the last hole, there would be 3 holes. One of them would lead to a hole in one, well, maybe a possible one. Another one would lead to a hole in 5. Another one would lead to a hole in 3.
Oh, okay, nice. Well, boys and girls, we are going to transition to some well-ordered language now. We have a new chapter that we're going to start today. You know, before spring break, we took a whole week off focusing on compound and complex sentences. Well, that's going to relate pretty well to what we're going to do in well-ordered language next, which is compound subjects. Now, using what you know of compound sentences, what do you think a compound subject is? Any guesses? Aryansh, what do you think compound subjects are?
Compound subjects are subjects that are repeated with and or in between them.
Very good. It's going to have a fanboy combining 2 subjects, like Emma and Alexander play tennis, or Tig and Marcus played golf. 2 subjects combined with a fanboy. And, but, or are the most common. Let's review those common fanboys by doing our conjunction junction song. Now, there is a conjunction song from well-ordered language, but I think this one is catchier and it helps us remember even better. Can you guys remember the conjunction junction song? Who thinks they can sing it for us? I'll just have it kind of playing in the background rather than watching it all.
We don't hear it.
You can't hear it? Okay, I'll present it over to the screen then. Junction, junction, what's your function? Looking up words and phrases and clauses. Conjunction, junction, how's that function?
I got 3 favorite cards that get most of my job done. Conjunction, junction, what's their function? I got and, but,
or, they'll take you pretty far.
And, that's an additive, like this and
that.
But, that's sort of the opposite. Not this,
but that.
And then there's or, O-R. When you have a choice like this or that.
Or that.
And, but, nor, get you pretty far. Conjunction, junction, what's your function? Hooking up 2 boxcars and making them run right. Milk and honey, bread and butter, peas and rice. Hey, that's nice. Dirty but happy, digging and scratching, losing your shoe and a button or 2. He's poor but honest, sad but true.
Okay, we'll stop it there. We've watched that lots of times, but it's a good reminder that conjunctions combine words, phrases, and clauses. And, but, nor are the most common ones. But let's review all of the fanboys. Who can tell me all of the fanboys? The ones that go with F-A-N-B-O-Y-S. Those fanboys. Josiah, what are all the fanboys?
For and nor, but or yet so.
Way to go! That's a feather in your cap. Knowing all the conjunctions. Who else can give me all the fanboys? The ones that Josiah just gave. Emma? F is for
For and or
and nor.
nor.
B is for but. Or
So. Yeah, no.
so close. You just missed one. The Y is for yet. Yeah. So for and nor, but, or, yet, so. Great job, Emma. Okay, boys and girls, now you have memorized more than you actually even need in third grade well-ordered language because we're only going to focus on 2. The only 2 conjunctions you'll need to know are and or. So you guys have a head start on some things that will help you with 4th grade well-ordered language. For 3rd grade, you just need those 2, and or. I'm on page 122 of the well-ordered language workbooks. Would you all join me there? It's been a while since we've had well-ordered language time. But we're going to do just a little introduction today, and then we'll get into it more tomorrow. Everyone hold up your well-ordered language workbook, please. Let me see that you've got your book B. Should be on page 122. Great job.
What page?
122. 122. So we know that conjunctions combine 2 or more things. Now, it could be 2 words, it could be 2 phrases, 2 clauses. Here is a short little poem that shows some compound subjects, and it's actually by Lewis Carroll. We've read some Lewis Carroll poems, right? The Crocodile and Father William were both by Lewis Carroll. This is one called The Walrus and the Carpenter. Arshab, would you read this little poem for us?
The walrus and the carpenter walked on a mile or so, and then they rested on a rock, conveniently low. And all the little oysters stood and waited in a row. The time has come, the walrus said, to talk of many things, of shoes and ships and sealing wax, of cabbages and kings, and why the sea is boiling hot, and whether pigs have wings.
Very good. This is a nonsense poem, as you can tell. The walrus and the carpenter walked around. That alone is pretty strange. They rested on a rock conveniently low. All the oysters stood and waited in a row. Anyway, this is a funny nonsense poem. Lewis Carroll loves a good nonsense poem, but he combines 2 subjects, walrus and carpenter. Now, we've learned about subjects and predicate verbs, but we've not had any time where there's 2 subjects, walrus and carpenter, doing the same thing. They both walked. This is a great example of a compound subject. On page 123, it shows the walrus and the oysters talk of many things. The oysters and the walrus talk of many things. As we're going to get into more, for compound subjects connected with the conjunction or, we end up changing the verb slightly, like the walrus or the oysters talk of many things. But if it's The oysters or the walrus talks of many things because the walrus talks is the way you'd say that. You wouldn't say the walrus talk. We're going to get into that a lot more later. As far as how to analyze these compound subjects, on page 125 is an example of that. Can you all turn to page 125? 125. Here's the line from the poem, "The walrus and the carpenter walked together." Notice that we underline walrus and put an S on top, and carpenter and put an S on top. They're both equally the subject of the sentence. Now, the thing that we do for the conjunction, they call the bracket here wings. So we put wings around the fanboy, the conjunction. Little wings, that's right. So can you all practice that? Let's write and on the side. That's going to be the most common conjunction that we'll be analyzing. Write and practice doing little wings, which looks like this. It looks very similar to the less than, greater than symbols in math. Okay, so the small end goes, like touches the conjunction in both of these. So practice doing a little conjunction with wings. And then can you hold it up to the camera so I can see it? That's how we'll mark our conjunctions. Great job, Tig. Everyone show me your conjunction with wings. Nice job, Emma. And you can do it just like me right along the side of the sentence, just to get some practice of how to do it, since that's actually the only thing that's new about how we analyze. Marcus, do you have your book? Can you write your conjunction with some wings on page 125? What page we should be on? Great job, Sahanasri. And if you want, you can also try it with the conjunction or. That's the other one you're going to see a lot. So in third grade well-ordered language, those are the only conjunctions that you'll work with. But when you're older, you'll do the other conjunctions. Marcus, did you write it on page 125? Okay, can I see it, please?
Is it 1B or 2B?
It's 1B.
Okay, good.
Yep, that's the only one we're going to use for the rest of the year. You don't need level 1A anymore. Okay, but Marcus, we've got to move quickly since everybody else has finished. Can I see your conjunction with wings? Just a little practice of how to mark conjunctions. Great job, Marcus. Thanks so much. Okay, so we'll do more of this in an introductory lesson tomorrow. But that's all we have for well-ordered language today. We are going to do some roots this week, but not today. We're going to hop actually right into some math. So take a moment to stretch and change out your supplies. Looks like Ariansh has a little snack. That's great. Or get some water as we transition into some math time. Who remembers what we were doing last in math? It's been about 10 days since we've done anything. But who remembers what unit we're in? What are we studying with math? Alina, do you remember? Uh-oh. Alexander, do you remember?
I think it was like with, what's it called? Fractions and like meters and
Good, measurement. And we were doing some fractions with measuring in inches. That's exactly right. We're going to continue with measurement this week. We are going to talk about weight today, and we'll get into liquid measurement. And we learned about the metric system. This week, we're going to be focusing on what we call customary measurement, which is what is usually used in America. So that's what we're going to focus on today. So you'll need your math notebook for today and your math workbook. Got a little scale here as we're going to focus on weight today. Now, I believe we talked about weight using these kind of scales before spring break. Yeah, so we talked about the smallest way of measuring weight, which is using ounces. We did grams for the metric system and then ounces for customary. So we're going to get into that a little bit more today and then talk about how to measure heavier things. Let's start with making a little chart. So can you all open up your math notebook? We're going to make a little chart to have some comparisons as we convert ounces to pounds and then pounds to what's even heavier. Who knows what's even heavier than a pound in customary measurement? How much would like a car weigh? Alexander?
like a pool. I know it is, I just can't remember the name.
Okay,
It starts
Ty,
with a
do you
T.
remember? It does start with a T. You got it. Ty?
A ton.
Ton, that's right. T-O-N, ton.
And isn't a ton 1,000? No, it's not 1,000 pounds. Isn't it like
You're close. 2,000 pounds.
Oh.
You're close. Okay, so there are ounces, pounds, and tons in the customary measurement. We're going to write how to convert those. And just like with the metric system, once you know how to convert them, it's pretty simple, I would say. Once you know the amount that we can convert to. Now, it's not quite as simple as the metric system. Remember that for the metric system, it was always like multiples of 10. So it's 10 or 100 or 1,000. And the customary system, it's different. Like 12 inches are in 1 foot and 3 feet are in 1 yard. So it is something just to memorize. It's not like the root words can help you like in the metric system. Okay, let's start with a header at the top of your page. I'm going to write my name. Today's date is March 29th. Over here, it's math lesson 15.2.
Cool. Today's the 21st. Oh, I'm unmuted. How? How is this?
So March 29th, we're almost to April. That's so crazy.
And we're almost to Easter.
I know, so close to Easter. That's exciting. Aryansh?
And on Thursday, we can be pulling pranks on people.
That's right. We're almost to April Fool's Day. I see some evil minds at work in the class right now. Okay, so we have just a few customary ways of measuring weight. Let's write at the top of our little chart, customary weight. Customary weight. Marcus, do you have your notebook out, bud? We're writing some math notes in our notebook. Now, the smallest way of measuring weight is with little bitty ounces. So 16 ounces are in 1 pound. We abbreviate ounces as OZ. So 16 ounces equal 1 pound. And we abbreviate pound as lb, and that's because of the Latin that it comes from. So 16 ounces equals 1 pound. To show you what that looks like here, on the inside, it shows going up by ounces in little tiny increments. That's 1 pound, 2 pounds. And then the little divisions are each 2 ounces. And it even tells you that here. 2 ounces is what it goes up by each time. 2 ounces, 4 ounces, 6 ounces. Sorry, there's a glare. I know that's a little hard to see. That's the halfway point. So that would be 8 ounces since that's halfway between 0 and 16. So we would use ounces to measure things that don't weigh very much, like a pencil. Now, the next level up is a ton. There are 2,000 pounds in 1 ton. So 2,000 pounds, and we abbreviate that again with LB, equals 1 ton. We abbreviate ton as a capital T. Yes, capital T. Like with liters, how we capitalize the L, you have to capitalize the T for ton. Marcus, can you show me that you're writing, please? I'd like you to have some pictures to represent these to help you remember. So let's write out some examples. I'm going to put a little box around our chart here. And then draw out some examples of some things that are about 1 ounce. Something that would be about an ounce is like a small amount of grapes. This is from our book. 5 grapes would be an example. There's like a stem going through them. Or like some peas would be about an ounce as well. Actually, a little more than that though. So yeah, we'll just stick with grapes since that's from the example from the textbook. Sorry, that's a bad drawing of grapes. Maybe you have a better one. Or I've got a little clip here. I'm going to put that on my scale to see about how much that is. Well, that's about an ounce. Or a pencil. Let's write pencil. 1 pencil. And you can draw a picture of that. That's about 1 ounce. Now, 1 pound would be like a loaf of bread. Is a good image to have in your mind of about 1 pound. You could draw something like that to show a loaf of bread.
Miss Gardner, I can't see the 1 pound.
Oh, sorry. A notebook or workbook would be possibly around a pound as well. Let me measure out a notebook I've got here. Yep, I would say I've got this little notebook here, and when I put it on the scale, it is exactly 1 pound. So that's another good way to imagine a pound. 1 notebook or workbook. So you could draw that out as well. And then 1 ton is like a car. So that's how you should picture a ton, about the weight of a car. We will be talking about how to actually read scales and measure, but a big part of the unit on measurement is just being able to, in everyday life, start estimating about how much something weighs, and it's really helpful to have in mind about how much each of these is. Oh, so Tig's got a little cupcake there. Tig, would you say that's about an ounce, a pound, or a ton? What would be your estimation?
I'd say it's about
Well, it's
maybe
closest to an ounce, right?
Yeah. And it's not a cupcake. It's a brownie with icing and sprinkles on top of it.
Nice. That sounds very tasty. Now, it might be a little more than an ounce, right? A little more than 5 grapes, maybe 2 or 3 ounces. But now we can't tell. It's in your stomach. So who's to say? So if any of you have scales at home, I know some of you might have scales to like measure your own weight with, which would be maybe 50 or 70 pounds, something like that. So you can use your own scale to measure, and that's also helpful to think of your own weight in terms of what other things might weigh. How many of you have scales at home that you can use? Great. Okay, well, let's take some practice of thinking about how much something would be. Let me take a look. I think that's page 196. Yeah, okay. So you are going to have some practice of reading a scale, and the scale is going to be pretty standard. In the metric system, we had some smaller scales that measured milligrams versus ones that were a gram, but this one's going to be pretty standard. So as you can see here, it goes from 0 all the way up to 16 pounds. So this is one that measures those heavier items, and the halfway mark would be half a pound, which is 8 ounces. Since there are 16 ounces in 1 pound, that halfway mark is ounces, 8 ounces. But you won't need to know that part for your workbook pages. So you'll have some scales like this where you're going to measure in pounds. So if this is 0, it doesn't have a number for 1, but 1 would come between 0 and 2. So between 2 and 4, there's a 3. So what is the line pointing to here? How many pounds are the bag of potatoes? Nice, Tig. You can measure your own weight in some things around the house, and that'll be really helpful to figure out about how many pounds something is. Samita, would you read the scale for us? How many pounds are the potatoes?
About 5 pounds.
Very good. It's right between the 4 and the 6. So we can determine that that's about 5 pounds. Now, Marcus, here's a different type of scale that we're going to be using sometimes. A balance, where we've got some pounds on one side and then the item on the other. Now, 1 lb is 1 pound. lb stands for pound. So how much do the pairs weigh?
Pairs weigh 3 pounds.
Excellent. Okay, now let's do a little comparing. Are 2 pounds greater than or less than 2 ounces? Those look like our wings for conjunction. Emma, is 2 pounds greater than or less than 2 ounces?
Greater than.
Good. And when we use the greater than symbol, make sure that the bigger part opens up on the larger number. What about 18 ounces? Now remember that 16 ounces are in 1 pound. So is 18 ounces greater than or less than 12 pounds? Arsha? Remember that 16 ounces
It's greater
is
than.
1 pound. So is 18 ounces greater than or less than 12 pounds?
Less than.
Very good. That's just a little over 1 pound. So definitely less than 12 pounds. Dikshita, is 2 pounds greater than or less than 20 ounces? Remember again that 16 ounces is equal to 1 pound. Oh, Rishith, maybe you can answer instead. Dikshita accidentally left. If 16 ounces equals 1 pound, is
20.
2 pounds greater than or less than 20 ounces?
20 is greater than 2 lbs.
Actually, the 2 pounds is going to be greater because 20 ounces is just a little over 1 pound. You see that? It's basically 20 ounces is 1 pound and 4 extra ounces. So that's smaller than 2 pounds because 2 pounds would be twice as many as 16. Who can figure that out for me? What's 2 times 16? Aryansh?
32.
Good. 2 pounds is going to be 32 ounces. So 32 is greater than 20. Okay. Here, we've got some items that are between pounds. For this, you will not need to tell the pounds and ounces. Instead, you're just going to use estimation. So in this case, the bananas, oh, sorry, here's the bananas. Would you say the bananas are closer to 2 or 3? Hold up your fingers. Do you think the bananas are closer to 2 pounds or 3 pounds? Good. So we would just estimate that the bananas weigh about 2 pounds. I'm sorry, I know those are a little hard to. That's better. If this is 2 and this is 3, it's closer to 2, so we would just estimate. You don't have to give the exact answer in pounds and ounces. When in doubt, round up, just like with other things in math. So in this case, it's if 13 pounds is here, and this is 14 pounds, and it's at the halfway mark, you'd round up. So how much is the fish and shrimp about? Samhita?
I'm gonna put your skin for a second. It is about 14 pounds.
Good, that's right. You can say it's about 14 pounds. And anytime you see the word about, it means you're going to estimate. It's not looking for the exact number. You're going to use rounding. And Samhita rounded up, because when you're halfway, round up. Right, so you'll have some practice of things like that and some questions like these where you need to choose which one is it closer to. A basket of fruit, would you say that's about 10 ounces or 10 pounds? And use like the pictures and examples that we came up with. Remember that an ounce is like a handful of grapes. And a pound is like a notebook. So would you say a basket of fruit is about 10 ounces or 10 pounds? Aryansh? I guess it depends on what fruit's in there.
Definitely going to be pounds and not
If-
ounces. Now, if there's small fruits, then it's going to be ounces.
Yeah, I think that one's a little bit confusing. But if it's a full basket of fruit, I think that it is going for pounds, definitely. Now, a box of cereal. How much do you think would be inside a box of cereal? 18 ounces or 18 pounds? That one's a little bit easier because we can definitely picture that. Emma? 18 ounces or 18 pounds?
18 ounces.
You got it, 18 ounces. Okay, so any questions about this, boys and girls? I know that for some of you, this is feeling too easy. So we're going to get into liquid measurement tomorrow. And for today's homework, you'll have some questions about how much something would weigh, like a bowling ball. Would that be about 9 ounces, pounds, or tons? Use one of those 3 terms for about how much it weighs. A pile of magazines, would that be about 5 ounces, pounds, or tons? And then you've got a chart specifically for measuring things in tons. Think of which ones would be more than 1 ton and which ones would be less than 1 ton of these animals. Can you see anything that automatically you can tell is more than 1 ton?
Yes, I can.
Tig?
The elephant, whale, and hippo.
Oh, nice. Josiah, did you get to see any of these things at the zoo the other day? You said you
No,
saw a
I
hippo,
didn't.
right?
I saw a hippo, and I saw a pig, and
And
I
maybe a
saw a
monkey.
monkey, and I saw a dog. I didn't see a whale or elephant.
Oh, yeah, Gentry doesn't have any whales, unfortunately. So you'll tell which ones are more than a ton and which ones are less than a ton. Okay, for math, that's all you'll have, just 2 pages. And I do want you to upload it when you are finished. Then for your other assignments on Bright Thinker today, you've got a new science unit. We're going to start learning about the human body. How many of you already know some systems that we have in the human body? Today's lesson is just going to be an overview. Aryansh?
The muscular system, the brain system, and so I know a lot. I think we already learned about the human body in 2nd grade or 1st.
Okay, probably 1st grade, because I don't think it's usually 2 years in a row that you would have the same unit. But yeah, very
Last year.
you did in 2nd grade. Okay. So we are going to be learning about it probably just in more detail. We're going to hear about the muscular system, the skeletal system. What are some of the other systems in the human body? Alexander?
I'm not really sure with the systems, but I know some parts in your body, like a kidney.
Good.
And your long
Yeah.
intestine and
Your lung, heart.
Large and
And your
small
big-
intestines, very good. You'll learn all about those specific organs that are in the human body and what they're for. And a system is a bunch of those connected organs working together, or specific bones working together. So you'll have your introductory lesson on the human body today. Do any of you want to be nurses or doctors when you grow up? Alexander does? Nice. Make sure you ask permission before you unmute. And I'll get to you in just a minute. In history today, you're going to do your last chapter on exploration of North America. You're going to hear about a French explorer today and take some notes on him. You're going to hear about Niagara Falls and how that was found. Has anybody been to Niagara Falls before? Nice. And we're going to hear more about exploration of Canada specifically. Aryansh and Samita, have you been to the Niagara Falls before?
Was it the 3 waterfalls? And
So it is a waterfall, the biggest one in North America, that separates America or the United States and Canada. Aryansh? Or sorry, Samhita, go ahead. I know. Did you have a book about the human body that you wanted to share?
Yes. This is the book.
Oh, very cool.
So every time we flip a page, it shows the part of the body that we're talking about. So here we're talking about the skull and our rib cage.
Oh, and you've got the skeleton that you'll be able to take apart and everything?
Well, not take apart, but if you flip the book, you can see each part of the body.
Very nice.
And I can even see the muscles.
Yes, Harika? Yeah, that's going to be a great tool for the whole course of the unit.
So actually, when I was little, we went to Niagara Falls and it was pretty loud. It was probably when I was 3.
Yep, it is very loud.
It was when I was 3.
I know Horseshoe Falls. I know Bridal. I forgot some of the names. But
Yes, Aryansh?
I know some of them because my sister did a slide thing. I forgot what it was called.
All on different waterfalls around the world?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
So I
Ask her about it.
I went to Niagara Falls, and the only bad part about it is that you better want to pack some clothes because it's like that water is beating on your head like 1,000 times. It hurts, but it's fun to go in and out.
There's a lot that sprays up in your face, and it can be really cold. I was going to look up how much water falls every second.
I think like 1 gallon or a ton or something.
Let me see if I can. So 3,160 tons of water flows over the Niagara Falls every second. Oh, over 3,000 tons every second flows over those falls.
And that's a lot.
So that's why it is incredibly loud, and it's very wide. It's not the tallest waterfall in the world, but it's incredibly wide. Yes, Arshab?
Tomorrow on Tuesday, I'm not going to be at school because I have a doctor's appointment, and right after that, I have tackle football practice.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. It is best always to still join live if possible. So if you could have your mom email about maybe joining the 11:30 class. It could be good, and if not, it'll just be counted as absent, but I'll have the video recorded for you to watch later. Okay, if that doesn't work out to do at 11:30.
Did you give the Tuesday homework today or after Tuesday?
Some things are available early, but not everything. So I'll you just keep checking Bright Thinker to see if it's up yet. Probably not everything will be available for you today, though, because there's like a quiz that you'll need to do tomorrow. Just a little short history quiz. Okay, boys and girls, that is about all for your Bright Thinker assignments for today. I'll have just my reading group stay with me. And everyone else, thank you all for persevering and doing so well in class today. It's great to have you all back.
Bye, Miss Gardner.
Bye.
Bye, Miss Gardner. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow,
Bye,
Samita.
Miss Gardner. Bye.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.